Last season was an absolute disaster for the Detroit Pistons. They had the worst record in the league and set a franchise record for losses in a season with 68. They also suffered a 28-game losing streak, and despite having the best odds to receive the number 1 overall pick in consecutive seasons, the Pistons fell to number 5 for the 3rd straight year. So as you can imagine, there wasn't a whole lot of optimism going into this offseason. However, the Pistons actually had a sneaky great offseason. From front office moves to the draft to bringing in key veteran players, the Pistons have now put themselves in a position where they are going to be much improved for this upcoming season. In today's video, I'm going to talk about it. If y'all could do me a solid favor, please hit a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more Pistons and NBA content just like this. And shout out to BetUS for sponsoring today's video. Tom Gores set the tone early for the Pistons. He brought in Trajan Langdon, former assistant GM of the Pelicans, to fill the role of president of basketball operations. Langdon offered Troy Weaver a position in the scouting department, which was declined. Then Langdon decided to part ways with Weaver, which was a step in the right direction for this franchise. Langdon then brought in Michael Blackstone, the Pelicans VP of basketball administration. He then brought in J.R. Holden and Dennis Lindsay to assist with basketball decisions. Then Langdon faced another important decision regarding head coach Monty Williams. Despite Williams' 6-year, $78.5 million contract, Langdon and owner Tom Gores decided it was in the organization's best interest to part ways with Williams. They then hired J.B. Bickerstaff as the new head coach to lead the Pistons to hopefully better days. The team also brought in shooting guru Fred Vinson to improve the team's shooting abilities, and just like that, the Pistons completely transformed their front office as these moves marked a great start in rebuilding and reshaping the Pistons culture. Then you look at the 2024 NBA draft, the Pistons selected Ron Holland with the 5th overall pick. Holland, you look at his game, he's energetic, he's known to be aggressive with his scoring and defensive abilities, and his shooting definitely needs improvement, but hiring Fred Vinson as a shooting coach will definitely help his development significantly. Ron Holland can definitely end up being a very big get for the Pistons at number 5. There was a point in time where he was regarded as the number 1 pick. Is going to be a nice addition to the collection of young talent that the Pistons currently have. And in the second round, the Pistons, they moved up 16 spots to select Bobby Klitman. He's a former 4-star recruit who played at Wake Forest, and he played just 1 season with the school before Klitman went on to the Australian League, where he averaged 9.7 points and 8 rebounds over 23 games. And he's just a really good perimeter shooter with the size to be a big disruptor on the defensive end. Then the Pistons brought in some veteran players. The Pistons acquired Maverick star Tim Hardaway Jr., who averaged 14.4 points per game last season, as Hardaway Jr. was out of the Mavericks playoff rotation, and his time with that team ran its course, as Tim Hardaway Jr. and 3 future second-round picks were acquired by the Pistons for Quentin Grimes. Then the Pistons had $50 million in cap space to work with, and they got aggressive and signed some other veteran players. They got former 76er Tobias Harris to a 2-year, $52 million contract, and the deal, it did draw some mixed reactions, but the main thing about Harris is that he is going to be bringing some much-needed mentorship to this Pistons team, and he can still be a highly productive player on the floor. In 60 games with the Sixers last season, he averaged 17.2 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 3.1 assists on 48, 35, 87 shooting splits. So those numbers aren't bad at all. And then the Pistons also signed Malik Beasley to a 1-year, $6 million contract, as Beasley's obviously known for his elite 3-point shooting. That's going to help a Pistons team that struggled shooting the basketball last season, and he's also expected to provide a scoring boost from off the bench. So he could very well be a dynamic bench scorer for this team, which will be very valuable. The Pistons also re-signed Fontecchio to 2 years at $16 million. He brings more shooting and depth. And then Paul Reed joined the Pistons off waivers from the 76ers, further boosting roster depth. Now guys, before we continue on with this video, I do want to quickly shout out today's video sponsor, BetUS. And if you are looking for a new book this basketball season, then BetUS is the answer. They got fastest payouts in the industry, and they are currently offering a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. I've been using BetUS for a while now. You definitely want to check them out if you haven't already. And when you look at the Pistons, their over-under right now is set at 25.5. Might seem like a lot of wins from a team that just won 14 games last season, but I think the Pistons are going to be a better team this season, and they could very well flirt with a play-in spot. I like their moves. I like their additions. So you know what? I'm actually going to go over on this. I'm smashing the over. I think the Pistons are going to win over 25.5, and they are going to see a nice little increase in their win total. Again, guys, check out BetUS, proud sponsor of this channel. They got you covered on all things basketball going into this season. Then the Pistons made arguably their biggest move when they signed Cade Cunningham to a rookie max extension worth over $224 million for 5 years. Despite the Pistons' 32-106 record during Cade's tenure, Cunningham has shown his potential, averaging 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 6.5 assists per game on 43% shooting from the field, 33% shooting from 3, and 85% shooting from the free throw line. Cunningham has proven that he is the player to build around for this franchise moving forward. I mean, you look at his last 3 games last season, guys. Cunningham averaged 33.7 points, 4.3 rebounds, and 5.7 assists on 47% shooting from the field, 47% shooting from 3, and 90% shooting from the free throw line. I know it's just 3 games, but those 3 games to end the season could be a sign of things to come for this season, and Cunningham can truly see a major leap to his game as he has showcased his scoring prowess and has demonstrated his playmaking abilities as well. You look at Cunningham, he ranks 8th in assist percentage, 13th in usage percentage, and is among the top 25 in field goal attempts. This was a solid offseason for the Pistons. You look at the strategic hires that they made, the key acquisitions, and the commitment to Cade Cunningham. This all brings a clear vision for this team, a vision that has been lacking for so long. The Pistons, they will still be committed to developing their young talent, but with their new integrated additions, they should be much more competitive this season. And the Pistons' top offseason priority was to surround Cade Cunningham, their best player, with players who provide nice floor spacing and the ability to hit shots, and they did just that. And the Pistons, they finally have what looks to be a competent rotation in Detroit for the first time in a while. As you look at the projected starting 5, I would probably pin it as Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Fontecchio, Tobias Harris, and Jalen Duren. As you look at the Pistons, they did struggle with shooting, ranking 29th in the league in 3-pointers made. And despite his playmaking abilities, Cunningham, he was top 10 for turnovers. His defenses, I mean, they just clogged the paint as they knew it was coming. So this lineup's going to be able to help that. Also, you're going to have reliable shooters and floor spacers. And I know some people, they don't want to see Ivy start, but I like his potential and it can't be ignored. And he's able to score in transition. And you look at his efforts defensively, it's going to make him a valuable asset to the starting lineup. And I know you can also make the case for Thompson starting due to his potential, but Fontecchio in the shooting, I think it just makes too much sense. And it's the ideal choice here for him to start at small forward because he shot an impressive 42% from 3 in 16 games with the Pistons compared to Thompson's 18%. So you need shooting around Cade to make it work. So I think Fontecchio starts there, and then Thompson's impact, it could still be felt in a big way from off the bench. He could still play big minutes and have a crucial role on this team. And then I think another big element with the Pistons this season is going to be the development of Jalen Duren. I think Duren is due for a mini breakout here. I mean, he's shown flashes of brilliance in his game in the paint, but I think this season he really needs to become that consistent rim protector, and he needs to be the anchor of the defense this season. Really needs to step it up and really be that guy that Pistons fans were hoping for when this team drafted him. And then you look at some other key rotational players for this team. Malik Beasley going to be that 6th man. He has a chance to really surprise a lot of people. Maybe a sleeper when it comes to 6th man of the year there, I say it. Isaiah Stewart, Thompson, Sasser, all these guys are going to have big roles, you would think, from off the bench. Obviously, you're going to have the rookie Ron Holland, Tim Hardaway Jr., Paul Reed getting minutes as well. So when you look at the Pistons, guys, I actually really like what this team has done this offseason. And I think the Pistons are going to be much improved. They're going to be competitive. This is going to be a team that does see a major increase in their win total. I know that's not saying much because they only won 14 games last season, but I'm going to go as far as saying this. I think the Pistons can compete for a 9th or 10th seed in the East. The bottom of the East is going to be bad. And I think the Pistons are going to be one of those teams that do see a mini jump. And all things considered, you know, they had one of the better off seasons in the NBA. They were active, they restructured things. So I know Pistons fans are tired of hearing it, and they're running out of patience because it seems like this team has been rebuilding forever and been stuck at the bottom. But they've made some nice moves, and they do have a nice blend of young players and veterans on this team. And I think it's going to be these veteran players coming on over that are going to make a world of difference. I like where the Pistons are headed. Look, it's only up from here, right? You can't get any worse than the season that this team just had. So it's going to just be on the uprise for this team. I think it is going to be better. And I didn't even talk about Bickerstaff in detail, but I think he's going to be a major upgrade at head coach. And yeah, I think there is a lot to be excited about for Pistons fans going into the season. How do you think the Pistons are going to fare this season? Let me know. Pistons fans, are you optimistic? Are you still pessimistic about the direction of this franchise? Let me know your thoughts down below. Hit a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. And again, shout out to BetUS for sponsoring today's video. That is it for me. It's Luke signing off. Thanks so much for watching. I will catch you all again in the next video.